Hi, I'm Jane Ramsey. Welcome back to the Inspired Creator AI edition. Most artists I know have, at some point, dreamed of drawing a portrait, maybe of a friend, a loved one, or even of themselves. I love drawing faces too. As you can see here, I've created lots of abstract faces, and those are fun because you don't have to match any real person's likeness. But capturing someone's real face, that's another story. Now, some artists are amazing at it. They can just make a sketch look like the person they're drawing. That has never been one of my natural skills. Over the years, I've taken many portrait classes, and the process is usually the same. You start out with a simple face outline, you add features like eyes, nose, mouth, and chin. You shade, contour, add hair, and then spend hours refining and coloring. It's rewarding, but also time-consuming and for me often frustrating. Now, when I started creating digital art on my iPad, I tried again. I took Procreate portrait classes, used tracing shortcuts, experimented with different brushes, and sometimes the results were okay, but honestly, I was rarely happy with them. Now, there's a new way. With AI, we can create expressive, painterly portraits from photos, quickly and beautifully. You don't have to be a master at realism to capture a mood, an essence, or a story. I'll show you how to transform a simple photo into a unique painterly portrait that you can use in your art journal or in other creative projects. I've made a Painterly Portrait Workbook that will guide you step by step, and you'll find it linked below in the video description. So let's go through the key steps together. You first will select your photo and choose an image where you feel authentic and strong. Look for good lighting on your face, minimal background clutter, and a pose or expression that really does feel like you. So this is the photo, the reference photo that you will upload into the AI tool. And then you come up with reflection prompts. And before we dive into the prompts, just pause and think for a moment, how do I want to feel in this portrait? What mood or energy should it have? Peaceful, bold, mystical? What colors feel true to me right now? Are there any background details, symbols, or details that express my story, whether it's flowers or stars or light or brushes or an aura? I'm using some geometric symbols in mind just because that's what I've been focused on creating lately. And then you do style exploration. You think about the art style you want to try, whether it's watercolor, soft and painterly, or maybe acrylic or gouache look, a digital oil painting, mixed media or collage feel, even comic book heroic. And just note what excites you, and this will go into your prompt. And then you start to build the prompt. Now, in the workbook, you'll see the prompts that I actually used, and you can copy and paste and edit those yourself, and that will give you a starter. You just use a simple structure that you can see from the sample prompts. For example, painterly portrait of a joyful mid-century modern artist with brownish blonde hair, mood radiant and peaceful, style, soft watercolor, background, abstract teal and pink light with mid-century shapes, include subtle gold stars, or whatever you want. So then you take and paste that into the AI tool and see what it creates. So here's the first prompt I entered into Chat GPT. You can see the whole text in the workbook and on the slide, but using shorthand, I'll just call it soulful watercolor. So I entered this soulful watercolor prompt, and this is the image that the AI created. Pretty nice. It does have a watercolor feeling and a soft painterly texture. I like it. Let's try another one. Now, let me mention, for the first few of these, I kept uploading the reference photo, but you actually shouldn't have to do that if you stay active in the same chat. Again, you can see the entire prompt here, and it's also in the workbook. I'll call this one Modern Poster Art. And you can see what was generated. It's pretty cool. I can think of some places that I would use this. I do like it. The third prompt is here. In this one, I ask it to generate a bold graphic poster. And here's what was generated. It's pretty cool. I like this too. I could use this in some of my art journal pages. Interesting. In the next prompt, I ask it to generate an image in the style of collage mixed media. Here's what was generated. This is my least favorite so far. In the next prompt, I ask for an oil painting version to be generated, as you can see here. And here's the end result. Wow, I like this. It's pretty good. And finally, I ask for a style that's similar to something I would have tried to create myself in Procreate, a minimal modern style. You can see the whole prompt here. And here's what came back. Wow, I really like this one too. And this feels more consistent with my style and how I like to create on my iPad. I can think of ways that I will use this. So you can see that from one photo, I got 6 different styles generated over the course of minutes, versus the hours I would have spent trying to draw and paint a portrait or even use Procreate to produce a portrait. It's pretty powerful. So before I talk about next steps, let me just mention a teaching point. So when I create AI art that I might print or use in products, I always think about size and resolution up front. So did you notice in the prompt that I asked for a square format, and I also ask it to be generated at 3000 by 3000 pixels? That gives you plenty of detail, and then it will import into Procreate at 300 dpi, which is print quality. Now, if you're just making something for social media or a YouTube thumbnail or just to learn, you can go smaller, like 1920 by 1920 pixels if you're doing square, because that loads faster and it still looks crisp on screens. But here's a tip. Starting large, meaning 3000 by 3000, means you can always scale down without losing quality, but you can't go the other way without making the image look blurry. So that's why I specified the pixels at 3000 by 3000. So now back to our process. The next step is you refine and play. Once you get your first AI portrait, adjust the prompt if anything feels off. If something is off, maybe the shirt color, the background shapes, the facial detail, just refine the prompt and say what you want to be different. For example, you could ask AI to change the shirt color or to adjust the eyes to be more hazel than brown. A small tweak can make the result feel much more authentic. So you tweak the colors, your mood boards, what you want in the background. Try different art styles, like the 6 different prompts that are here, until one really feels like your voice. And then once you find a portrait style you love, you can print it for your art journal, you can use it on a greeting card, or as part of your creative branding. And try combining styles like overlaying watercolor with geometric patterns. Remember, AI isn't replacing your artistic direction. It's expanding what's possible and letting you tell your story in new ways. So this process makes portrait making accessible and deeply personal without the frustration of trying to master perfect realism. So how would you use this? Well, you could use these portraits as art journal centerpieces, as gifts, or you could even experiment with products like prints or cards. If you're following along in my Inspired Creator AI Edition series, try this exercise. Pick a photo, build your first prompt using the template that's in the description, experiment with at least 3 different styles, take some screenshots as you go, and just note your own evolution. I can't wait to see what you create. And if you want to keep learning how to use AI while staying true to your unique style, check out the full playlist. I'll be adding new lessons over time. As I mentioned, the workbook is included in the video description. Make sure to save your prompts. And if you haven't yet, check out the full playlist of the Inspired Creator AI Edition. It's full of lessons to help artists like you explore AI without losing your authentic style. I'll see you in the next lesson.